Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Tarot with Emery. Hi, how are you all on this Thursday, 1st of August? So, I hope that you are well. Well, tonight we're going to be looking at the Seven of Cups, continuing our journey through the emotional part of the Minor Arcana with the element of water. So that's very closely associated with Cancer, Scorpio and of course Pisces. So, if you want to come in and join me as a guest, you're welcome. If you want to discuss anything about tarot, want some help, or you want to offer some help, whichever way it is, we'd love to have you along. So I'm just going to play this and I'll add it on the link. So, I'm going to move something out of the way so I can see my card properly. The Seven of Cups, and I hope that you are now able to see the link there if you should want to come in and have a little chat with us live on screen here and coming up on camera. Seven of Cups. So, let's dive in. When it comes to the realm of tarot, the Seven of Cups embodies the imagination, choice, wishful thinking of illusions and fantasies. So this card depicts an individual facing away, contemplating 7 images emerging from all of those 7 cups. Now they're floating amongst the clouds, and that represents dreams, illusions, thoughts and boundless imagination. Can everybody hear me okay? It'd be really good if we could actually get a thumbs up that the sound's okay. I think it is. I can see my meter going up and down on that. I think it's my AirPods that aren't working, so I'm going to take them out for a moment. Right. So we've got this depicting the individual facing away from us, and they're looking at the 7 images that are emerging from the cups and floating amongst the clouds. We know this represents dreams, illusions, thoughts, and these cups emanate various fantasies reflecting the dreams of the dreamer. So this card implies the presence of multiple options, inviting exploration of endless possibilities. If you draw the 7 of Cups in a reading, it can suggest the need to clearly discern shadows and visions in one's imagination, and that means in our dreams and in our reality. Sometimes there's a bit of caution that's been advised regarding wishful thinking and the choices that we make. So in one sense, this card indicates the dreamer's excitement and fear of things seen and unseen in their unconscious mind. In another, it's a reminder to balance our dreams and aspirations with action, because of course this suit is all about emotion, and it's important that we take action, because fantasizing indefinitely is not sustainable. So when this card comes up, if indecisions should arise due to many options available, and each option has its advantages and disadvantages, which should be weighed up to make the very best choice. Caution is advised, as this card suggests not only wonders and treasures, but maybe some shadowlands and monsters. In some cases, the 7 of Cups can indicate a lifestyle that's not grounded in reality, and no actions guide because of self-fed illusions. So such individuals might need to differentiate between reality and imagination to make much better choices. So it's about the need to separate what is real and what is not so real, so that we can make better choices. The Seven of Cups is also linked to temptation, which is pretty much obvious by our figure in the card, because the man is hidden half in the shadows and half in the light. Now what that is showing us is his indecision and his confusion while he's trying to make a wise choice. His silhouette is the appearance where it's overshadowed by choice, and the choices may be just in his head. He ponders lots of options, yet he's a figure in an outline, so he might only also be seeing part of the picture. So it's no mistake that we've got a shadow or a silhouette here. His back is to the dark and the light's in front of him, and that can be blinding and dazzling him, indicating that he is not illuminated as to what he really wants. And so he gazes at the cups and the clouds and poising to reach out, if only he could choose one. Fragments of ideas can lead him forwards with his imagination, embellishing all of his visions. He's got the active mind, and he's moving and skipping from one fantasy or idea or emotion to another. So he's focused on dreams and adventure, and each cup is full of what ifs and maybes. So the cups and contents sit in a grey cloud, and they're not concrete and they're not based on any reality. They're just mere daydreams, hopes and wishes. Until action is taken and choices are made, these are just figments of his imagination. Now his head is in the clouds, so he's completely bewildered by his mind's choices and of its possible outcomes. And because the clouds are grey, this may well cause tension and anxiety while he contemplates this. So each cup holds something different, trying to tempt and confuse the man. So here we go with what's in all of these cups and what it may actually mean. I'm going to try my iPods again, and I'm going to give you some keywords, and then we'll be back to tell you what's in those cups. See you in a moment. So I'm back. Sorry about that. The podcast came on when I didn't mean to press that, so my apologies. Right. What's in these cups and what does it actually mean when we talk about the Seven of Cups? The element of water, and it represents emotions. So the first cup has a woman's head or a mask, and this represents the outer self. Now bear with me, I've got lots of different meanings for you tonight, so I'm going to just take them one at a time so you get that, and then we can move on to some others that are also representations about what's in the cup. So the first one is the woman's head or the mask, and representing the outer self, and it displays the masks that we put on for others or our public image. So his curiosity here could be about how others see him and how he's perceived, and his insecurities and how he wishes to portray himself. He may wish to change who he is, and that will be to please how others see him. So this is the fragile ego. The shrouded figure in the cup represents the inner journey towards our true inner self, and he may wish to develop his spiritual self and work on his inner being and look within his subconscious. Hi Anthony, hi, thanks for joining us. Anyone else watching, please do come and say hi. Lovely to have you along. So this figure has a red aura, the shrouded figure representing the inner journey towards the true inner self, has a red aura surrounding the actual cloth or the figure that we can't quite see. So this might be an inner journey to a different version of himself, enlightenment. And based on ego, he can only see the outcome and not the hard work that it may take. Then we look at the other cup and the snake, and that's for temptation, learning through our desires and knowing what to say no to. He might wish to lean towards intimacy with that one. Yet snakes are also, they bring fertility via rebirth and growth, and they shed skins. So he might not want to stay on a path that's with the snake. And the snake is slithering out of the cup. Can you see that? So does he want to be free from his desires? Is that what that's about? Deep down, this is probably an inner trust issue. Then we've got the cup that has the castle, and the castle is for adventure, yet it also looks like a tower. So does he want to hide inside of his ego and build castles in the sky? In doing so, he's impractical and probably deluded by his wishes. So it means he's unwilling to work at anything that he wants. Or he might prefer the safety of the castle walls to retreat and not ask for anything and not risk any conflict because of his insecurities in a wish or a need to feel safe. The jewels in one of the cups, well, this represents material treasures, and they're piled high and they're hanging over the edges of the cups, and that's showing abundance and wealth. And the cup that shows the riches are indicating possibility of looking at examining his own greed and considering what else he can take and find to enhance his own prosperity. He might focus on thoughts such as, when I win the lottery, when I'm rich, these kind of things. The laurel wreath in one of the cups is for victory. Yet look at that cup. It has a skull etched onto the cup. So this might be victory or death. Transformation, of course. He may be focused here on success and power, looking at personal achievements with the fear of losing what he's gained or even losing what he may gain, which may stand in the way of his trying to do anything. And in the last cup, we've got a devilish imp, and this is a winged two-legged dragon with a barbed tail, which is known as a wyvern. Now, that wyvern is showing his courage of the figure, and wyverns, when challenged, may need to confront some deep-seated confusion. And it's leaning over the cup, looking as if it's about to pounce at him. Can you see that? Some tongues licking the air as if it can sense or smell the insecurity and the fear from this man. So Wyverns breathe frost. So this might be an aspect of himself that makes him feel as if there's a chill running down his spine. So if he goes for that, he'll see that as a strength. But as a problem, the challenge is laid out and he must choose which one. It might appear straightforward because you're only granted an opportunity to make a decision, so you've got to make one. But we can be guided solely by the boundaries of our imagination. We don't know what's going to actually be tangible. The number of this card is 7, which is about spiritual growth, wisdom, and endurance. So this is a card of choices and decisions and questions about more choices and more decisions, isn't it? And a card that can lead us to opportunities or pathways that we choose from. And so while we're determining what's the best for us, and because there's so many choices, and we may need to make one choice based on so many different aspects, that we may not wish to lose any of it. So we gain another or make another choice only to realise we've made a mistake. So sometimes we can be overwhelmed, and because we don't know how to navigate and how it's going to turn out, it could be the wrong choice. So we may need to prioritise and stop daydreaming. And once we've chosen, there's no going back. We've got to choose wisely, pick it or throw it away, or just ignore it. We can't allow this to go on indefinitely. So the 7 of Cups is a time for decision making, and it's usually essential when this comes up, but the weight of confusion makes it so difficult. And it's the importance of the outcome that this card could be directing the future path that you take. So once the decision's been made, it'll be final and very challenging to try and do a U-turn or cancel that. So when opportunities present themselves with this card, we've got to put some sincere effort into what we're desiring out of our choice to build a future. And you might need to ask someone else for their view and their honest opinion, and try not to be under the illusion of what these 7 of Cups might actually mean, because we're spoiled for choice, too many options, and the ways to move forwards feels like a heavy weight, a burden. So being faced with multiple alternatives can indicate us to be more focused, and we need to be less distracted by what's shiny and glittery, so that we're not going for shallow opportunities or false promises or wisps or fantasies based on what they're not. And time, of course, will also be a factor. So we've got to ensure that the imagination is kept in check. And if you've been waiting to make some fresh choices, this card shows that be free to make a new choice or a decision concerning much needed changes. And of course it depends where it's placed and the position of your spread. That'll be one that helps you find welcome relief if that choice has been offered or denied. Perhaps it's in the present, perhaps it's in the future, perhaps it's in what the tarot's advices are based on where you're heading right now. If you carry on along that, you're going to be able to navigate that beautifully. So 7 of Cups is a card of soul-searching, daydreaming, multiple choice, finding out where you fit in life, self-examination, finding yourself to know yourself, self-understanding, personal fulfillment. You're searching for a purpose when you get this card, and it's got to be about your emotional needs. It's about being honest with yourself and picking your priorities. It's also about hidden identities like the mask, and we'll be coming back to that. It's about integration, enlightenment. It's about the imagination, fantasies, daydreams, illusions, procrastination, of course, wishful thinking, multiple choices, pie in the sky, opportunities, decisions, and disorganization, and scattered focus. So there were some more keywords there for you. I want to describe a little bit more about the images in this card. So I said we'll keep coming back to that. So the cup figure has our figure in the cup, Seven of Cups, I beg your pardon, the silhouette, let's call him our figure, has reached a crossroads or a turning point in his life. And he is now seeking change and needs to move on. But he's got to get it right this time. His challenge is now to understand himself. And so he must spend a period of time examining every aspect of his life so that he may realize who he is. And at present, he's still daydreaming. So there's a part of this in the earlier version of him, when we see him progressing through the Fool's Journey, as in, and through the 1 to 7 as it is, and what we're up to in the cups. And so now his true self is whispering to his subconscious and nudging him and asking him to look at his dreams. So before he takes any more further steps, the cup figure is committed to uncovering their own true self. And that means comprehending their inner emotional landscape. So he'll be relieved now that 7 has appeared, because it's a positive number, as we discussed, and it's giving him choices. But this will require discipline, stamina, and courage in order to be enlightened and to face the true self. And that means, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the Cups figure intends to put every aspect of his life under a microscope. And so in the 7 of Cups, soul searching is beginning. So he remains unaware of anything because his complete concentration and focus is on the 7 of Cups. And they're floating in the clouds above his head. And when we've got clouds, it means no clarity. Things are not being made clear to us. They're covered up. Doesn't mean they're not there, the answers are there, but we can't see them. So also because this is about emotions and imaginations, they're not physically there, but they are very real to the cup figure, because emotions are very real. And so they're conjured up in his mind's eye and in his inner vision, and they're very vivid in his imagination. So the method of transportation here is on a cloud. And when we first saw the cloud in the Ace of Cups, in the suit cups, it was symbolized that the cloud was offering the Ace of Cups from Spirit. Remember, if you haven't seen that tutorial, do have a look at my podcast. I've collated them all on there for you and all listed, so you can go through each of the cards. We're working through our way of the 78 cards every week. So back then, when we looked at the Ace of Cups, a hand extended from the cloud and presented each suit with that raw potential of its element, which in this case is water, and represents emotions. So what was being offered, even then, was not tangible. And I say this all the time to you, don't I? Emotions don't lead to actions, they don't lead to a product. But our emotions are usually the reason in which we take action, which leads to something that's tangible. So the Seven of Cups displayed on the cloud, the 7 cups, so you're saying 7 of cups. The 7 cups that are displayed in the clouds symbolize the abstract dimensions of this figure's personality, despite its intangible nature. So if he reached out to touch one, it's just going to disappear and vanish. So the figure's body is blacked out, and that suggests that he is absorbed in his task and must keep the images that he's conjured up for such a long time like this, and he's got to keep them as long as he can. That's his thinking. But it also indicates that he will work both day and night, internally and externally, until he finds what he's soul searching for or looking for. The task is challenging, and the risk of getting distracted is high. So there's a danger that the figure may forget his mission and become part of the surreal reality. Remember that. And he might float away with the clouds to somewhere where he doesn't have to act or make a decision. So the figure is staring at the 7 of Cups floating before him and spending a lot of time considering each one. And each cup represents a part of the figure's personality or the figure's life. In the first cup, we're going over some different meanings, so might be one to actually come back to this video and watch it a few times so you get all of it. I wanted to separate it so it wasn't just and this and this and this and this. So in the first cup, what we've got is the mask or the face, which is his mask and his face, like I said earlier, but it's representing, and what its meaning is, his public persona. And it's the mask that he wears to the outside world. Got news for you, we all do that. So this is an aspect or a part of himself that conforms to what society is demanding, that he behaves in a control and pleasing manner, which people around him are very used to. And the figure is probably asking himself, or needs to ask himself, whether the mask accurately represents himself, or is it a front in order to please others? Does the mask make him happy? Is this who he really is? And what would happen if he was to leave this mask at home and not wear it for a day? Would people notice, or would they find him strange and uncomfortable? Would they even like him? Who is he trying to please by wearing that mask? And there's some questions for all of us when this card comes up. In one of the cups, he's watching the snake slither out and go down the side of that second cup. And he knows, as we all do, that the snake represents his sexuality. And he needs to determine what he needs to do, or what his needs are in this area. Is he happy and comfortable with who he is, or is he tied up by wearing that mask, like in the first cup? And does he consider sex as a healthy part of being a human being? Or is it something that should be hidden or shameful? And the snake also of course, represents rebirth and renewal. And snakes obviously shed their skin during various growth stages, making them open to change and adaptable to their environment and their terrain and the topography in which everything is laying around them. Thank you for the thumbs up there. It's very nice of you. Thank you. Do say hi. Send me some hearts if you're enjoying this. It's quite a deep one and lots of meanings and things that you don't have to remember, but so lovely to know about. And I'm sure that you will remember them given the time that you need to, or it'll spark something with your readings. Hopefully spark something within all of us. The figure needs to be prepared if he is to shed his skin out of his old line, if he is to grow and develop. Again, enlightenment, transformation. And on another level, the snake represents his creativity and is asking how he uses his talents and his gifts that he was born with. And is this an area in his life that he's feeling fulfilled? And has he actually tapped into his talents and his abilities? And how creative is he at finding solutions to problems or issues? That's what that one's all about. So in the third cup, we can see the tall castle or fortress or the tower. And this symbolically represents the figure's home life and their personal security. And he needs to ask if he's happy there. Is he happy where he is? How secure does it make him feel? Is this a home? Or is this home life? And is it a sanctuary? Or is it a place that he dreads and makes him feel depressed? So what's important to him? Is it bricks and mortar? And does it matter where he lives? Some of us are incredibly affected by our surroundings. And if he's going for enlightenment, he's probably tapping in and being very sensitive emotionally. So the castle also represents his goals and his aspirations. And his castle is very tall. As I said, it's a little bit like a tower. And how successful has he been in achieving his goals? And when he was setting out to do this, did he realize and actualize his ambitions? And are his goals still relevant? Or does he need to modify, adapt, or change them? Like the snake does with the skin. We outgrow our sort of, skin like a snake does. And will it bring him happiness? Then we've got the cup with jewels and treasures. And they're heaped high in the fourth cup. And some of them are falling out. Hello, ma'am. Thank you. So these represent the figure's ability to be able to draw that wealth to himself. He can actually go for that one, but still in the imagination. He's got to actualize them. And again, the figure's got to sort of ask some really tough questions, and the answers can be challenging about money and possessions, and how important are these things to him, and does he feel that he's got enough or that he's craving more? There's a lot in that cup, isn't there? And can he expect money to bring happiness? Or is having plenty of it just comforting? And would money be an essential factor in forming relationships? Has he got unrealistic aspirations or dreams about becoming rich? Is it just wishful thinking? Or does he actually have the natural ability to be financially secure or wealthy? And in what order of importance does the money come? Could he live happily without it? Has it actually managed to bring him happiness in the past, or did it form complications? So this is definitely transformation and enlightenment, but so scattered. Too many questions, too many choices. In the fifth cup, we're seeing that Laurel wreath, and this symbolically represents his successes and his personal achievements and personal power. Now he's got to define what success means to him. How does he feel about success? And what he's achieved in life, is he proud of it? What are his strengths? What does he excel in life? Which area? And does he consider himself a success or a failure? Does he need trophies, certificates and awards to feel successful? Or does it come from within? Is he proud of who he is? And is he doing all he can to actualize or realize its full potential? If he's successful, will it change him? Or has it changed him if he's been successful? The sixth cup has a dragon or a lizard preparing to pounce. I said to you, it's called a wyvern. And this can symbolically represent a dragon or a lizard. Doesn't really matter. But this is about our demons and our shadow self. So this is the dark side, the side that the mask in the first cup would never reveal under any circumstances. It also represents the animalistic and instinctual nature of the figure. So does he shun this to the side in an attempt to repress it? Or does he let it go wild and free when no one's looking? Does it fill him with shame? Would he be relieved to bring it all out in the open instead of this burden of secrets? And is he prepared to even look at that for himself? Looking at your own shadow self can be very difficult, very painful. He may have to do this if he wants to understand himself better. Could integration of the self bring the ultimate true happiness that he's desiring by the Seven of Cups? And finally, we're seeing the seventh cup, which rests in the center in that large cloud. And standing in the cup with its arms outstretched is a shrouded figure. And the shroud conceals the face and the upper body. And this figure represents the true self, the identity which is present, hidden even from him, but it's very much alive and it's waiting to be discovered. So a bright, solid aura surrounds that shrouded figure, which vibrates with vital energy. And the shrouded figure also symbolizes his spiritual self. And he must ask the question, how much attention do I pay to this? He needs to do his spiritual duty as well as his physical one. So the seventh cup is acting as the Holy Grail. And what that means is something that you want very much, but it's very hard to achieve or very hard to get. And now our figure is understanding the purpose of his journey in enlightenment. So the identity of the seventh cup can only be revealed when the cup's figure has done the necessary inner work and answered questions with truth, courage and honesty. And he's standing mesmerized in front of those seven cups, realizing he's got so much to contemplate and reflect on. So these are areas of his life that he has never ever questioned before or even thought about. But one thing's for sure, that his life or world has changed. So he needs to understand where and how he fits into his new world and what he has to offer it. So he must decide what he wants from life and how to do it. It won't be enough to stand and contemplate his cups indefinitely. He's got to take action. He can't keep putting it off. And he's got to put all the work and the effort in and be prepared to move forwards or move on. And so this is enlightenment where we feel confident, happy and sure. In this case the figure, he's going to be sure of himself when he does do this. And so he should have matured enough to feel comfortable and proud of who he was. So he should be able to make the necessary changes in his life if something's not making him happy anymore. He must let go so that it can be replaced by something in these 7 cups that's going to replace it with something that does make him happy. He owes that much to himself. There's no turning back now. So the work that this 7 brings emotionally is a soulful journey and a challenge. But there's only a certain amount that other people can help or influence this figure in the 7 of Cups. They don't know. His friends and family may know what would make him happy, but which version is that? Is that the mass version, the emotional version, the child version? We don't know. And they think they know what makes him happy and how he should live. But the time has come that he's got to go digging and take ownership of his own happiness and his own life in his own world. And the best person to determine that is himself. So a lot of inner and outer work has to be done. Meditation is going to be very beneficial. So, sip of water, I think. One of the worries with the figure in the 7 of Cups is that the figure may get so caught up with himself that he might be in danger of losing touch with reality. Right, I'm going to remind you about the podcast because I'm just going to top up my glass of water. So let's put that on. So you can find all of the selection there of the tarot cards that we're going through. I want to say 78, but we've not done 78 yet, have we? Quite a way to go yet. So we've done 22 major Arcana cards, you'll find those there, and Ace to 10 of the Swords, and Ace to 7 of the Cups. Wands to do, Pentacles to do, and the Court cards. So just making sure that we've got that library there for you to look out. So, you know, you can choose anything you want to, of course, but I tried to make it easy by having a playlist for you in the form of podcast. So, I said that one of the biggest worries with our figure in the 7 of Cups, and obviously, if we're having a reading that's talking about the person that's drawn this card, current, i.e. the person having the reading. But one of the worries is that they are in danger of losing touch of reality because of daydreaming and becoming too self-absorbed, fantasizing about what we would be like in life, but doing nothing to realize it. So he might get caught up in daydreaming, wishful thinking. We're all guilty of that. And he runs the danger of becoming a cliche of I'm always trying to find myself. I'm sure you know people like that. He might use it as a constant excuse for not doing anything with his life. He's always promising to take action or to be happy when he eventually finds himself. So his imagination may be running away with him, and he may start believing in all sorts of unrealistic grand notions of himself. And he might constantly talk about what to do when he is making his first million. So the figure in the 7th cup is ignored while he indulges in the distractions of the 6 of cups. Do you get that? Because the 7th cup is he cannot face himself. That's enlightenment. So what he's seeing is maybe hallucinations, dreams, nightmares caused by excessive overthinking. And sometimes they become a little bit paranoid, as in emotionally overloading it all. And really and truly, as we said, in danger of maybe searching for the self far, far too much. So, the 7 of Cups needs clarification. You need to choose between far too many options. And so the Cups figure stares at the 7 Cups before him, spoiled for choice. So he's shown that he's got 7 gold cups, and he sees the contents, especially of the 6 of the cups out of the 7, and he's holding an item of value and worth on each one. So he can choose any one he likes, walk away with the prize. But if he chooses the 7th cup with the concealed contents, he could walk away with a brand new way of life. So the problem is the 7th cup is an all or nothing cup. Nothing else will be if a happy life is not enough. Should that happen, he'll have to walk away with nothing. And so the spotlight's on him and the 7 cups. So each cup, that's why it's a silhouette, you see. And each cup is tempting, promising, but he can only choose one. The 7th cup holds the biggest risk, but with the most opportunity. And it's whether he's brave and wise enough to make the right choice. So he might need to go with his gut instincts and disregard the pressure and the advice from those that are around him. So when the 7 of Cups appears in your reading, it indicates that the time has come that you must take stock of your life and that questions must be answered. It's a sign that you've changed, and all you have to do is scratch beneath the surface to realise that everything feels different and not as it should be. Something's probably happened, a significant incident that's caused you to stop and analyse everything you've done. And it might be making you painfully aware that you're seriously wanting in certain areas of your life. And you could feel like you don't know who you are anymore, and you don't know what you want, and you don't know what's going to make you happy. So it's likely that you no longer want what you have, or that it does not bring you the same joy. So you've probably been drifting along for a while now, maybe a long time, doing the same old thing and assuming you were happy. So the 7 of Cups symbolises the shift towards a state of grand discontent, irrespective of your previous emotional state. You might need more personal fulfillment or real happiness in your life. Sometimes life's unexpected challenges can be like having the rug pulled out from underneath our feet and serves us up with a wake-up call. And it prompts us to reflect on our lives and make necessary changes before it's too late, because the choice may not be there forever. And it allows us to take stock of what we find are our values, our boundaries, and our priorities. So regardless of the original cause of the issue of why you find yourself at this card, the Seven of Cups, it strongly suggests that your needs are not being fulfilled. And that might be whether it's a relationship, work, personal life. You know, you must prepare to do some deep soul searching so that you can find fulfillment and identify the cause of your apathy or discontent and lack of joy. And so you need to spotlight each area of your life to identify the real issue and discover your genuine identity, like we talked about earlier with the mask, and consider maybe meditation or seeking guidance from self-help literature. Study, you know, find the answers and put each area of your life under a microscope and be brutal and honest with yourself, because you can. You're the person. So this is the desire to move on and be happy. For the first time, you're probably conscious of not wanting to repeat the same mistakes, the same old mistakes, to get stuck in those patterns that feels negative to you. So there's a huge effort on your part to liberate yourself from the old self or part of it you've been holding back. And when the Seven of Cups appears, it doesn't indicate any significant problems, but just a shift in perspective. And it suggests that you're embarking on a journey of personal empowerment, recognizing that your happiness and fulfillment lie within your control, your own control. And so to take this opportunity to assess what you require with introspection. And if others perceive you as being egotistical or self-serving in this, accept that. Friends and family might be flocking around you and fussing and fretting because what's wrong with you? And they've probably been trying to influence how you proceed from here, but you must trust yourself. Now it takes as long as it takes, and whatever time you require. But you must choose one, and it would be to your advantage if you resolve the matter swiftly, of course. Then you can take away anything negative and make any necessary changes or additions to help you sort out your life the way you want it this time. So the Seven of Cups appearing suggests that you're exploring and trying to develop your spiritual side. And you may have everything you need, but something needs to be sorted in this area. And you might be avoiding or neglecting your spiritual obligations to yourself. And you might be very busy with work and career and relationships, families, socializing, but it leaves little room for this area in your life. And in that case, the Seven of Cups is a little subtle message that you need to balance your physical and spiritual to be happy. This is your happiness. And the interpretation of the Seven of Cups is, you know, daydreaming, pie in the sky. People say, oh, you know, you're indulging in wishful thinking instead of just doing something. You will. But you need more focus and commitment, all enthusiastic. But one minute you might feel overwhelmed and tired and disinterested. So you may also have an overactive imagination. And that can tend to escape into fantasies for all of us in the way the world presents or faces you. What's the reality? So yeah, we could be procrastinating and speaking of grand schemes and wild ideas, but the only person that we are kidding or needs convincing is ourselves. So instead of daydreaming, we need to take real action and realize, actualize the dreams and ambitions. Don't build castles in the air and watch them float by like our figure. The Seven of Cups does bring illusions and needs a firm grasp of what's happening in a situation. And yeah, everything might be in your head or your emotions or totally over the top. You could be away with the fairies most of the time, and it could be impractical. But don't neglect your dreams because your life's in disarray or disorganized. You need to take control, and that might stress you out, and you might think you're all over the place. But there again, you might be so fed up and bored that you've decided that you're going to let everything go because you just don't care anymore. And that can be a huge liberating experience. So the Seven of Cups is about multiple choice. So many options, so many opportunities, but it needs clarification of what's on offer. And every opportunity looks attractive and has its appeal, leaving you in need of clarification. At some point you'll have to make a choice sooner or later, but give it some thought, and you need to decide on what will ultimately affect you emotionally, because we're in the emotional suit. It might also set the tone for your life for the foreseeable future. Don't be influenced by those around you. Focus on yourself and what is essential to you, and taking responsibility for your choice. So it's about opportunities, wishful thinking, illusions. And so the man is standing with the 7 cups with various gifts. And some of those cups, desirable gifts like the jewels and the wreath, and he's holding gifts that are not gifts. Some of them might feel as if they are, like the snake and dragon, as if it's something rather awful. But we know the actual symbology of what that really represents. And so the clouds and the cups symbolize the man's wishes and dreams. And the different gifts inside suggest that there's a need to be careful what we wish for, because not everything is as it seems, and choices must be made. But in so doing, we can go way beyond illusion and focus on what's right for you. So it's a card of new opportunities, choices, and sometimes illusions. The 7 of Cups appears in your tarot reading when you've got options and opportunities from which you can choose. Just be careful that you are not prone to unrealistic ideas or illusions. And opportunities, the promise of money and fame, power may sound amazing, but look deeper at what's been offered. And you might realise that not everything is what it's cracked up to be. And our egos might pull us into a certain direction to try and check it with your higher self. And that's meditation, quiet time, introspection. Evaluate your options, dig below the surface, discover what's involved in each choice. So often the 7 of Cups can be a sign of wishful thinking and projecting into the future of what you want to create, rather than card of action. Of course it's not action yet, it's an emotional suit. We've got to have a reason to act. And so we've got to choose one. You know, you might wish for a fitter, healthier body. Then, you know, you've got to pursue that and say, right, got to do the work, got to do the exercise, got to do the research. Or you might wish for a successful business with a passive income, but you're not ready and you're not willing to put in the hard work. You're talking about sometime in the future. You've got to put the hard work in now so that you can enjoy the benefits and the fruits of your labour. So if you spend most of your time wishing but not doing the work, you've got to choose one thing where you know it will happen. So if you don't know it's going to happen, then you need to make sure that your ideas are grounded in reality. So your plans might sound fantastic and fabulous in your imagination, but when you implement them, you might realise they don't work in the real world. So the Seven of Cups is a card that indicates a tendency towards shiny object syndrome, like the magpie. You know, the syndrome is characterised by a pattern of constantly seeking out the latest and grandest and greatest of opportunities without fully committing to seeing any of them through to completion. Constantly in the idea phase and miss the chance to bring the ideas to fruition. So it's a time to focus on one thing, and that will move you closer to your goal. So we've got to resist the temptation to get sidetracked with the other ideas as they arise. If need be, you can note your ideas as they come to you, but you need to stay focused on the one that you're doing. And this card invites you to move out of the ideas and options phase and choose. So each one will have its own pros and cons, and it's up to you to ensure that the option that you choose aligns with your purpose and your highest good, even if you feel a little terrified by the available options. If this comes up in a work-related reading, it suggests you've got various choices. If you're looking for a job, it suggests there's multiple job offers, projects that you can work on. But before investing your time and energy, do research and know what you're signing up for. If it sounds like it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Financially, this is a card that can make us want to impulse buy, high risk, get rich, quick investments. So before making any moves, maybe do research and take some professional advice. Research it to make sure that you are truly confident with those choices. As a personality, the Seven of Cups personality is a dreamer, highly optimistic about the choices and opportunities in their life. People come to this person when they need inspiration, but they sometimes need a little bit of a reality check when they need to get going with things. So the Seven of Cups is an entrepreneurial ideas person, not necessary action. And they're always coming up with the next big thing. So the successful ones know how to turn their ideas into action, because an idea is totally worthless without action. If it's relationships and love, well, if you're looking for love, it means there's a lot of choice. So that's good. Not all will be in with the people that they say they are. So be careful. You might actually be under the illusion and delusion. Weigh up your choices carefully and be honest about just digging a little bit behind the persona of that person. Don't see it all as glitzy, shiny syndrome. Just check it out, do your digging, work out what's important. And it can suggest that you may have so many options, and that might not involve your current relationship. So it's resisting tempting offers or opportunities that just offer short-term pleasure. The long-term pain, especially if it's extra sort of marital sort of affairs or one night stands, really consider your long-term goals and commit to a realistic outcome. In a spiritual reading, we've talked about this a little bit, you're looking at the world optimistically. So look for the blessings that are in disguise and cue into the opportunities that are available to you. Stay aligned with your values and use the most authentic part of you so that you can consciously pick the opportunities that you pursue. It's about listening to your intuition and following your heart so that you know that you're on the right path. So choosing the option for yourself that you rely on for your own wisdom and guidance will show you the best way, not the one that will appeal to others. So it's a really magical time, and all these shiny new sort of objects can feel as if it's magic and powerful, but don't lose focus. It's taking a step back to assess your options against your priorities and working out which opportunities are going to be of real benefit for you. So it's a card of choices and options, and it's important that you do keep searching for the big idea that you want, make your pick and move forwards with that. So, any questions? We've gone on with a long one tonight. So much going on there, isn't it? So, I think that was a lot to be going on with for now. Don't forget, we'll be looking at how we can read this card using a major arcana, so that everything I've said, when we use another card, how is it going to come together? Thank you very much for the hearts and the thumbs up. It's really lovely. I really do appreciate that. And I hope you really enjoyed that. I put a lot of research into trying to make sure that I give you the symbology and the meanings and what it used to mean, what it means in modern day life. I hope that it balances it for you, and somewhere along the line there it'll probably help you. Until next time, I am going to say don't forget the YouTube channel has a podcast. So I showed you that, and I get confused. I've got two. It's that one, Learn Tarot. So, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that, and please do subscribe or share this with somebody so that you can keep pace of the tutorials. It's a series we're going through. If it's something you're looking for, then it'd be nice to actually go through all of the cards and share it with somebody who's looking to study the tarot, or somebody that will really find some benefit and value in that. Don't be a stranger, say hi. I always love your comments. I know that people say, oh gosh, I'm really listening and hanging on to it and trying to understand it rather than want to interrupt you. I totally get that, but you can always just send me a wave. I always appreciate it. All right, I'll see you Tuesday, and we'll look forward to being able to put this together with a major arcana and see how the meanings and how we can do a reading with this, and you'll love it. Okay, it's the emotional cards are so much fun. Really do enjoy them. See you soon, everybody. Thanks for saying hi, Minu. Thanks for saying hi, Anthony. Bye for now. Have a really beautiful weekend. I'll play you out with this.